I'm going to use acrylic inks to color my Neurographica that I started yesterday. And now that I think about it, I don't know how well this is going to work because this is just copy paper. But hey, live and learn. Put down a little water with nothing in it, just a little pool of water. And then dip a little bit of this in there and see what happens. I liked what happened, but I didn't like that it didn't go all the way to the edges, so yesterday we had as many as 8 people show up. 2 or 3 of them stayed most of the time, and it was fun talking to them. One was Nadia, and another was a former classmate of my, not classmate, student of mine. I teach high school, and a lot of my high school students follow me on YouTube, have subscribed anyway. This is all really random. I was just thinking maybe I should have made the spheres, made the circles yellow or a warm color or something because I plan on doing all of this cool colors. But I just threw the ink in there, so it is what it is. Of course, it's also Saturday, so a lot of people probably sleep in on Saturday. And it is currently the 6 o'clock hour. And I slept in. I usually get up around 4, 4:30 or so. So this is sleeping. This was sleeping in for me. So the idea behind this coloring is to not paint any 2 parts that are next to each other, to spread it out, and also to give each one, sort of its own little modeled paint job. My air conditioner just clicked on in the background. I hope it's not messing with the audio too much. I really like the way this one right here did, and I think that was because it was the first time I dipped the brush in the ink, and it was kind of grainy and not mixed very well. The rest of them don't seem to be doing that. I did a little bit. This is really sort of an oversized brush for the small details that I have, but it picks up a lot of water, and it's got a nice crisp point to it, so I can really control it. And I can press down to get bigger strokes or more surface coverage, or I can just barely press and just use the tip, you know. So that's good. And neurographicas are just, kind of, for me anyway, just sort of mindless art. I don't have to think about too much. I can be pretty random, not give too much consideration to anything, and that helps me to clear my mind and relax. And when I'm done, I think it usually turns out pretty. I've never tried to sell any of these. I've done a few of these, and mostly for videos and for other teachers to see and use. And I teach my kids to do this at the high school. It's one of the projects that we do. And we usually do 3 or 4 practice ones, just like small, quick, mini projects. And then we do one really large one, and that's when they add color and, or, they add a little bit of color on the smaller ones too. And, but by the time they get to the large one, they kind of know how to do the lines and how to be more free flowing. There's a little spot right there where I think I didn't make the Neurographica connection, the smoothing of the line right there. All right, that's a lot of that particular color. Let's do one more right here. All right, now I'm going to switch colors. This was Liquitex Prussian Blue hue. Now I'm going to use this cerulean blue hue. I've got several blues in front of me right here, and I'm just picking them at random. No rhyme or reason. The only thing I really considered was just doing everything blue. Like, that was the biggest decision I think I made on this project. And the reason for that is because Well, number one, I've never done a monochromatic color scheme Neurographica before. I've always been. They've always been multicolored, and I just grab whatever color. So I'm just trying something new and see how it goes. This border that I put around the edge was made basically for what I'm doing right now, which is the watercolor part. This way I don't have to watercolor all the way to the edge of the paper and off and get it on the table or whatever. And it has a nice little border around it already. So, good morning. Somebody is watching. Thank you for clicking to see what's going on. I'm doing a Neurographica, and I'm now coloring it in. Yesterday, I streamed the... I almost stuck my brush in my coffee. Did you see that? Almost stuck my brush in my coffee. Yesterday, I drew this Neurographica. It took about 30 minutes or so, maybe about 40 minutes. And today, I'm going to color it in. And this is just a therapeutic art process. I don't see any chat on my screen, so if you're saying anything, I apologize. I can't really see it. I can see where somebody has joined, but I can't really see anything. If you stick around for a few minutes, I appreciate it if you hit the like button. This is just a really easy little art project where I don't have to think about much. I don't have to make any big decisions. So it's sort of meditative. And what I'm doing is I'm putting in a bunch of random blues. I chose to do blue for my project. For my Neurographica. I think there are different people that do this different ways. But I think a good many of them would say that it's very important that you have a cup of coffee while you do it. This is my Trevor Foster skull mug. And I love drinking coffee out of it most every morning. I'm trying to jump around on this thing and do different pieces that don't touch each other. The biggest reason to do places that don't touch each other is so that you don't really have any two different colors touching each other side by side. But an added bonus is that the water doesn't touch. So like right here, I'm making this little pool of water, right? And I don't want this pool of water to touch that pool of water. And there's no pool of water right there now. So they won't touch. I can do the color here, and then I can let it dry, and I can do that section later. I've added some straight ink to it. I'm using Liquitex acrylic ink. I love this stuff. It behaves a little bit like watercolor. The way it runs and the way it blends and its smoothness and everything. But it also has the added bonus of being waterproof when it dries. So, ooh, look how that one turned out. I love that part right there. I kind of feel like I sound maybe a little bit like Bob Ross. mainly because I'm tired. I just woke up, slept in late this morning, and so my voice is not real strong yet. I don't have a lot of energy yet. So I'm all Bob Ross right now. Feeling the Bob Ross vibe. Anybody else feeling the Bob Ross vibe? I'm not really digging this cerulean blue too much. It's so light. It feels kind of gray to me, which is okay, I guess. But look at there, I'll just make it thicker in some places, and that'll help. Is this the one I just did? Maybe instead of letting the cerulean blue be all runny and watery, I'll add a lot of, I'll make it stronger and richer. Let's come down here. I just said I don't like the cerulean blue much, but I'm going to do this whole section cerulean blue just because. If you're familiar with my work at all, you'll know that I usually do a lot of representational drawing, not necessarily realistic, but I like to draw faces and I like to draw birds and some of my paintings lately have been uh, sort of strange. You get a better representation of my work on Instagram probably, so if you're following me on YouTube and you don't follow me on Instagram, you may not see, because a lot of my YouTube is videos for teachers, for art teachers. Alright, so I watered this down really good. I got a nice pool of water built up on this surface right here. But now I'm going to grab a whole bunch of this cerulean and just drop it in there and let it, it doesn't really want to move. It doesn't matter how thick that water is. The water, so part of my problem here is I'm doing this on copy paper. This is not watercolor paper. It's not even good acrylic paper. I don't know why. It was just the first thing I grabbed yesterday when I decided to do this. So it really soaks the water in immediately, and then if you pull it up, the paper's already all wrinkled and stuff. So this is really a horrible surface for any kind of wet media like I'm doing. All right, we're gonna pick another blue now. That was cerulean blue, Liquitex. I've got Liquitex inks. I've got Amsterdam inks. These are Amsterdam. And I have FW, Daler, and Rowney FW ink. This processed cyan looks to me a lot like the cerulean, just not quite as gray. So I'm going to go with this phthalo blue, this phthalocyanine, cyanine blue. Does anybody ever say the whole word ever? I always say phthalo blue. But before I can do the phthalo blue, I need to add some water. Let's go right here. And then let's drop a little blue in there. Boop, boop. Oh, that kind of did good. It's because this is a smaller area, and so the water stays on top. It doesn't stay on top for a long time. It's just I'm able to get to the ink before it soaks in. So um, let's go ahead and do this one. I didn't wash my brush out or anything. I just went straight in here and did it. But I'm going to treat this like, I'm just using water. Make it nice and pooly. Pooly, is that a word? Um, Please hit that like button if you haven't already. It does a little good, makes me feel good. I was I was watching a little video about how we are getting to a point where we need external stimulation for our dopamine hits. I'm not saying that like the guy in the video said it. Sorry, but basically we rely a lot on the praise of others instead of internal, intrinsic appreciation for ourselves, and it's making it harder because if we don't get that external reward, if we don't get that external stimulation and appreciation, we just stop doing. And I find that to be true. I'm pretty self confident, and I don't. I like to think that I don't care so much for what other people think, but in a not that I don't care what other people think, but I don't rely on what other people think to motivate me. However, I don't think that that assessment of myself is totally accurate. I do uh, tend to. I found recently, I've been kind of listening, thinking about what I saw in that video and thinking about how it affects me. And I was like, that's really kind of true. And even if it's not like um, external affirmation from other people about my work, it's just the dopamine hit that you get from like watching a television show or a video or an Instagram or feed, post, video, TikTok, whatever. That's so much easier to get a dopamine hit from those activities to the point where it's just like, why bother drawing or painting because I'm not going to get that hit that fast. So I think our productivity, at least my productivity, has slowed way down because while this used to provide a dopamine hit for me, dude, dopamine's a drug. It really is. Um, so, like if you agree, hit that thumbs up button for me, people. Um, Also, I'm going to throw this in here. I hadn't thought about doing this or planned on doing this, but I'm just going to tell you this. This is totally unrelated to the dopamine hit thing. Oh, kind of unrelated. I am ready to retire. I've been teaching for 25 years, and I'm ready to retire. And y'all can help me out by hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. And maybe even if I do these live streams, hit that, what is it, super chat or whatever, like give me a tip. Maybe I can be such a big YouTuber I can retire. Anyway, um, tell you something else that gives me a dopamine hit. This phthalo blue. I like phthalo blue. I didn't like the cerulean blue. I like the phthalo blue. Oh, I'll tell you why I like the phthalo blue. And I think y'all might find this interesting. I'm colorblind, and so in order for uh, me to really appreciate the color, now I'm not totally colorblind. I'm red-green colorblind. I know that all this is blue. Okay, um, I can see that, but to really get a kick out of the color, it needs to be very bright and very brilliant uh, color. And just recently, I went to a exhibit on Van Gogh over in New Orleans, and it was an interactive exhibit, which was kind of not interactive. Uh, I don't know exactly how you say it. I think they said it was interactive, but I went around looking at everything. It was more, like there was a lot of projection screens and stuff like that. Van Gogh projected all over the walls was really neat. There weren't any real Van Gogh paintings that I'm aware of at the show. It was all um, either prints, reproductions, posters, or whatever. But it still kind of gave the people visiting this an education on Van Gogh, which was good. Uh, but anyway, one of the things said that they'd done some research on Van Gogh and his paintings and put them under like certain lights or certain filters and kind of determined theoretically, not I don't think it's 100% certain, but they think that maybe he was colorblind, and because he was colorblind, he was very what do you call it? He used a lot of bright colors. That's they figure he used a lot of bright colors because he was colorblind, and I can see that because I'm colorblind too. And if you look at a lot of my work, uh, it's very bright. I use a lot of pure colors. And the funny thing is, I know enough about color theory, and I appreciate some colors enough to know that if you mix two or more colors together, you get a unique color that not every artist is using. Um, and this is maybe more a maturity thing. Like a young artist, kids, because I teach high school, so I see this a lot. Kids have a tendency to say, okay, here's a tube of blue paint. This is the blue that I'll use for my sky. Instead of going, oh, my sky should be blue, should be a light blue with a hint of purple in it. And so get some blue and some white and some purple and mix it together on a palette and spread it into their sky. Or blue and white mixed together to make a lighter blue and mix it into their sky and then add some purple to it. A lot of kids don't do that, and I will try and teach them. Even though I'm colorblind, I teach color mixing and stuff like that because it's a. I mean, I won't say it's a complete science, but there's enough science about it that you can teach it like that. I can memorize what works and what doesn't work, and I can memorize how to mix colors. I can memorize the color wheel, and I can memorize all that. And then on top of that, they put the name of the color right there on the bottle, so that helps. So anyway, uh, if you didn't know, Van Gogh was colorblind, and that might be why he had such bright colors. All right, so I've done several phthalo blue, phthalo blues, and so now I'm about to switch to another blue. I don't know if y'all are paying this close attention, but see, I'm like getting out of the line sometimes. It's a little messy sometimes. That is okay. I mean, look at Van Gogh's work. Did he stay in the lines? I don't think so. Dude was throwing paint, swishing paint. Crazy painter. On a totally different note, I made my coffee differently this morning. I made coffee. I have a French press that I use to make coffee, and I made it like normal, or like I normally do. And I didn't really like the way it turned out. I think I put too much water and not enough grounds. So I put some more grounds in the French press, and this was after I had added cream to my coffee. I put more grounds in the French press and then just poured my whole cup of coffee, cream and all, in there. And it has, it's stronger, it's better, but it also has a slightly different flavor, I think, because the cream was basically brewing the coffee beans, steeping on the coffee grounds. I can't talk this morning. All right, we're going to try something a little bit different. I've been doing a lot of watery technique just to get it, you know, modeled, textural, atmospheric looking like that. Looks like the moon, doesn't it? Now, I'm going to use this brilliant blue, and I'm not going to add any water. I'm going to paint it straight and thick just to get a different texture. It had a, look at that. Oh, I dropped it on the paper. It's okay. I'll just make that one the blue. Nobody will know. It had a booger. It had an ink booger. I also think I'm going to use a slightly different brush for this. Just a smaller one, so I can have a little bit more precision. All right, so this ink has been here for a while. It's kind of thick, congealed. It's all right. It still works. Look at that. See, this is, without the water, this is a little thicker. I mean, it even stands and has like little ridges right there because it's so much thicker. And there's not really any getting rid of it. I would like to know who's watching, so if y'all will leave me a comment, just say hi in the comments down below so I can see your screen name. I can't really see the comments for some reason. The way my phone is oriented, I use my phone for my videos most of the time, and if I turn my phone vertical, then I can see the chat. But right now it's horizontal, so that you get the wide view, I hope. And so I don't see the chat, which is really strange because it seems like you have less room on the vertical and more room on the horizontal. I don't know if I said that right a minute ago. Look at this nice long stripe right here. I can just like take that brush from one end to the other. That was satisfying. That was satisfying. If you paint, do you have moments in your painting method that are more satisfying to you than others? If so, what are they? What are they? I will look for them when I paint from now on. What is the most satisfying thing that you feel when you paint, or that you experience? Maybe it's the interplay of two colors together. Maybe the most satisfying thing is laying down a row of hatch marks. I love that. Like if I'm working on a drawing, You know what? I might come back in here and do some cross-hatching on this thing. Great, now there's going to be like a part 3, the cross-hatching. As I was saying at the beginning of this video, all of this is really random. I have not decided where colors should go and where they shouldn't go. I just realized I gave kind of a big speech a minute ago about mixing colors, and I'm not mixing any colors. I'm just using these colors straight from the bottle. Don't judge me. Also just realized that, dude, I can talk without anybody talking to me. I'm just like rambling. I don't really feel like there has to be any rambling, honestly, because yesterday I started not to talk at all. But I now feel like some of the silence needs to be filled, especially if you're listening to these dogs barking outside my house, outside my studio. There we go. I probably ought to do this space right here with this color, but I don't want to use this particular brush. It's too small. Let us find another big brush. I like big brushes, I cannot lie. No other brother can deny. Okay, that was awful. Delete that from my video. Deep concentration. I use this sound effect sometimes. Alright, so note to self in the future, use better paper. But you know what I think would be nice? Yupo paper. I think the next one of these I do, maybe I'll start a new one tomorrow, I will use Yupo paper. Yupo paper is pretty neat stuff. It is not really paper at all, but plastic. It is a sheet of plastic made for doing watercolor and ink projects on. So I'm going to try that soon, I hope, maybe tomorrow. Look how good that, oh, I don't mean to be patting myself on the back, but I think that made that look good. Like some solid colors on the outside edge, or almost on the outside edge. I like that. Tell me in the comments down below, or tell me in the comments. Um, I will read them later. Do you like a cool, a solid um, paint? Here we go. A solid part. Like I said, all this has been real watery, and now I'm making this pretty flat and solid. Do you like that? Or do you like the watery part better? Should I have done the entire thing watery? Maybe I should do this one too. Got a boo-boo right there. Got another boo-boo. Goodness gracious. All of a sudden I can't see inside the lines. That's okay. It's okay. All right, I gotta wash these two brushes out. All right, I do have more blues that I can use. However, I'm about to run into a problem, and that is that my daughter is going to be awake. She's 9 years old. She's going to be awake, and she's going to show up in a minute. And I told her we would go walking this morning, so I got to get all the other white filled in, and in about 4 minutes, I already did phthalo. I've got this sky blue, brilliant blue. What one's? Oh, I just did the process blue, I think. Let's try the sky blue, see what happens. Also has a booger. Also need to finish drinking this coffee. All right, here we go. I don't want to mess it up, but I'm going to have to paint fast. Tell me, do you see a lot of different blues here? Because kind of what I see, or what I think I see, is a lot of different shades, tints, and tones of blue. And I'm not sure that I'm seeing like distinctively different colors, but like I said, that's probably because I'm colorblind. I mean, I'm seeing distinctively different shades and tones, but I don't know that I feel like they're really different sorts of blues, if that makes any sense. Like this is sky blue. Is sky blue just like phthalo blue with white added, or is sky blue a completely different mineral? I'm almost certain that sky blue is not a totally different mineral, that it is white added, but I'm still curious as whether, um, you know, in other words, I know that phthalo blue is a mineral, I'm pretty sure, that has been crushed up and blended with the proper binders, probably gum arabic or something, figure out what the stuff for acrylic paint is. Acrylic mixed with acrylic polymer. And that cobalt blue is also a completely different mineral, mined from a completely different place than phthalo, and mixed with acrylic polymer. So my question is sky blue, is this sky blue basically cobalt blue mixed with white, and they put it in a tube or a jar? This is research I shall have to do. When you look at it, do you automatically think that, I mean, I know you don't automatically think this, but when you look at this and you think about this, do you think that this is a different chemical, a different source mineral that makes sky blue? I don't know. Maybe that's a strange question. Maybe I'm stupid. I'm hoping to get a monitor for this so that I can put it in front of me and connect it to my phone so that when I do this live video, I can actually see uh, in front of me people, joining the chat, joining the video, or joining the watch, or whatever you want to call it. So I can see that live while I'm, like when I look here, I can just look there and there it is. But I don't have that monitor yet. If you have any suggestions on which kind of monitor I should get, that would be much appreciated. I was thinking I could use my Samsung tablet and just connect my tablet to my phone, but I was unsuccessful at that yesterday. All right. Well, I'll do a little. I think I'm avoiding all these little bitty places because my brush is so big. Let's go ahead and do that little one. And let's go ahead and do this little one. I may have to go back to some of my other colors to get those when I should have, because I didn't do it when I should have. I guess I could leave some of these white. However, I do have, let's see, I've used the phthalo, I've used the process, I've used the cerulean, and I think the only one I haven't used is this brilliant blue. I thought I was using it a minute ago, but I didn't. Let's go back to a little bit of water here. Oh, I didn't really wait on that blue right there to dry before I did the brilliant blue. this okay. So my daughter's going to knock on the door in a minute. And when she does, that'll be the end of this video. When she knocks on the door, I'm going to say, thanks for watching. It's your turn to go make some art. Or maybe she'll sleep late. Doubt it. She's like one of those kids that wakes up bright and early and come and run and jump into bed with you if you weren't already out of bed. She would not let you sleep in. And I told her last night before we went to bed, I said, don't get up before 7 o'clock. Look at your clock. Do not get up before 7 o'clock. And it's 7:04, so I'm totally surprised she's not already in here, because usually she's sitting there in that bed, straight up, reading a book with one eye and watching the clock with the other. And when it hits 7, she comes running. Just trying to get these whites filled in at this point. Look at that, I'm going to do 2 of them at the same time. Don't tell nobody. Tell me in the comments if you think it's looking rushed. Do I look like I rushed this too much? I'm going to do another 2 at the same time. I'm violating some kind of Neurographica code by painting 2 of these at the same time, I bet. The Handbook of Neurographica 101 states, thou shalt not put the same color in 2 sections simultaneously. Penalty for such. I think that was all brilliant blue. There's another 2 of them, connecting them together. And that one. And that one. And that one. And that one. And there's 3. 4. Is that all of them? That's pretty blue. I don't know what it looks like to you, but it's blue. Alright, I'm going to put the lids on my paint. And drink the rest of my coffee, and I'm going to call that it. Thank y'all for watching. Please hit that thumbs up. Leave a super tip if you want to, super chat or whatever they call it, and help me with my retirement. Yep. Go check out Trevor Foster coffee mugs. Look up Trevor Foster. Awesome stuff. Oh, thank you for hitting the like button, whoever it was. I'm now standing up and I can see my phone. I'm going to go on a walk with my daughter and have a good Saturday. Hope you all have a great Saturday. Go make some art.